Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Favor and I'm a lifestyle content creator living in Manitoba, Canada. If this is your first time here, you're definitely on the right channel. Please subscribe so you can join our family, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming when I post new videos. So guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about cost of living in Canada. I've gotten a couple of messages where people asked me, cost of living in Canada and what living in Canada is like, and so I decided to make this video just so more people can have access to this information. So if you want to know everything I have to say, definitely keep on watching. So guys, the first thing I'd like to say is that it's going to be different for everyone, right? We all have different tastes, we all have different expectations, and another thing, is that we're at different stages of life, so it's going to be different for everyone. But yeah, I'm going to be doing an estimate and talking about general costs associated with living in Canada. The first cost that we're talking about is your rent. I have a video where I talked about finding accommodation in Canada, like everything you need to know. I talked about renting, and I also talked about buying a house. So if you haven't seen that video, please check that video out because it will be very helpful. And of course, I went in detail. I'm going to be putting the link in the description box and also in the cards above, so definitely check those videos out. When it comes to rent, it's obviously different for everyone, right? People that have families or people that need more space would probably pay more just because they definitely need more space, right? Whereas someone that doesn't need as much space probably wouldn't have to pay as much, when it comes to rent, right? The other thing is, are you going to be buying a house? Are you going to be renting? Like these are things that could affect or impact how much you spend here in Canada. The other thing to know is that when it comes to your rent, it is monthly. Okay, I know like in some places rent is annually, but here in Canada rent is monthly, because that's another question that I keep getting. People ask how much rent is, or they want estimates of how much they can spend on rent, and they always ask if it's monthly, and I'm like, it's monthly. Okay, so if they ask you to pay $1,000 for your rent, you're gonna be paying $1,000 every single month. Okay, so yeah, have that at the back of your mind. It is per month. Okay, now if you buy a house, you probably have to deal with your mortgage, your property tax. Again, we've talked about all of this in detail in the video where we talked about getting a house in Canada, so please check that video out. I'm not going to go in details about all those costs in this video. The next cost that you can expect, or the next cost that people living in Canada have to deal with, is the utility bills. When it comes to your utility bills, we usually group it into three. So you have your hydro bill, you have your water bill, and you have your heat. Okay, when you buy a house, it's usually just hydro and your water bill. But if you stay in an apartment, most times you might be able to pay for either just the heat or just for the hydro, and then most times you don't pay for water when you live in an apartment. But again, this is something that you want to pay attention to. Again, I always advise people to ask or check with the landlord that they're going to be renting from or getting accommodation from. Okay, again, when it comes to utility bills, we talked about that in the videos about getting accommodation in Canada, so please check that video out once again. Another expense that people in Canada deal with is the internet and the phone bill. With the internet bill, you could pay as much as $40 off. Again, it depends on what you're looking for. Some service providers could offer a deal where you can access internet, home phone and TV cable for a certain price. So it really depends on you. It depends on what you're looking for. Again, this is just a bill. Most people pay for internet, except you're living in an apartment or a house where the internet cost is already covered by someone else. But if you're going to be getting accommodation by yourself, most times you have to worry about your internet bill yourself. So yeah, that's one other expense that a lot of people deal with here, right? As much as $40, $50, sometimes even over $100, right? But again, it depends on what you're looking for, and it also depends on the services that are part of that package. One thing I'm going to mention is for students, you might be able to access student discounts when it comes to internet. I know Bell MTS and Shaw Canada usually offers some student discounts every year. The thing is, when you want to check with them around August, September, just because that's like the back to school period. Okay, so check with them, let them know that you're a student. Most times they'll probably ask you for your student ID if you have that, and that's all. But just let them know that you're a student, and most times you'll be able to get a discounted rate for your internet service. Okay, now for phone bills, that's an additional expense again, right? And depending on what kind of phone you're looking for or what kind of plan you're looking for, you might be able to get a plan that costs you from, would I say, $30 up. Okay, if you're going to be buying a particular phone with a service provider, depending on how new or how recent the model is or the phone is, you might be paying up to $100 or more, right? But yeah, it's just something that you need to have in mind. Okay, I know like some people wonder if they can bring their phones. Yeah, you can bring your phone, and if it works with the service provider, then you're good to go. Again, you might still spend as much as $40 or $50 even when you bring your own phone. So this is something that you need to have at the back of your mind. So far we've talked about your rent, we've talked about your utility bills, we've also talked about your internet and your phone bill. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is parking. I find that parking, can be very underrated sometimes. Okay, you guys, we live in Canada, and I just feel like it was a bit of a shock for me, right? Knowing that you go to places and you have to pay for parking, right? Like even going to visit some people in, certain places, sometimes you have to pay for parking, right? And I'm just like, okay, like I never expected that. So yeah, it's something that you definitely need to pay attention to. If you're going to be visiting someone and, you're not sure, just always check in with them. Ask them if, their apartment has visitors parking. I know sometimes some apartments would provide visitors parking and it's free, but some apartments don't have free visitors parking and you still need to pay to park in the visitors parking. Okay, so it's just something to have in mind. Another place is like the downtown. Okay, like you've probably heard about the downtown, right? When you're going to the downtown, most times there isn't parking. Okay, like it's always just busy and full, and even when you see parking, it's also expensive most of the times. Okay, so it's something that you just need to pay attention to. I know a couple of people that have access to parking at work, but they prefer not to park at work just because of how expensive it is. So depending on how far or close your workplace is, some people prefer to walk, or some people would rather take the city's public transit and then probably drive their car to other places, but not just to work, especially when they work in the downtown. So it's something that you definitely need to be, mindful of. You need to have it at the back of your mind, because parking is not beans, okay? Again, make the decision that works better for you. I always say that on this channel. Don't copy anyone, don't follow anyone, and don't allow anyone pressure you. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, especially at that phase in life, then it doesn't work. On to the next. Okay, or pick what works for you. So yeah, some apartments could expect you to pay for parking, and it could cost as much as $25 to $100 and more, depending on the place, depending on the apartment, and of course like the neighborhood, right? All these things influence how much different apartments charge for parking. Okay, and so my next point is transportation, right? We're just talking about parking and how expensive parking could be. So yeah, like how are you going to be moving around Canada, right? Like, are you going to be buying a car? Are you going to be relying on the city's public transit system? Or are you going to be taking Uber, taxi? Or are you going to be walking? Okay, I mean, you can definitely walk and it's free of charge. Okay, so that's something that you don't have to worry about in terms of cost. Okay, but I mean depending on where you're staying, most times you probably have to take a bus somewhere, right? Or drive somewhere. So that's something that you need to worry about. And depending on the province that you're going to be staying in, you probably even have to pay for insurance to just move your car. Okay, so but yeah, that's something extra for car owners. Okay, when it comes to taking the city's public transit, I mean, I'm going to be talking about Manitoba because that's where I stay. In some provinces you're able to access the train, but here in Manitoba we don't have trains that help people move around within the city. We have trains, but it's mostly inter-province. Okay, so to move within Winnipeg, we usually use the Winnipeg Transit, which is the bus. Okay, so if you're going to be taking the bus, you need to get a bus pass, or you need to get your coins. Okay, as at the last time I checked, it cost about $3.10 to take the bus, I mean, for one ride. So if you're going to be taking the bus, just have your money ready, or you can get the bus pass or the bus ticket. Okay, when it comes to the bus pass, they have the monthly pass, they also have the weekly pass, and they have the bus ticket, which you can use daily or per use. Okay, so it just depends on what you want, how often you move around, and I mean, make the decision that works best for you. And yeah, the bus fare for students is discounted. So yeah, if you're going to be a student here in Canada, definitely check with student services, and you'll probably be able to access the discounted bus pass. I know the University of Winnipeg and the University of Manitoba have the I think semester bus pass, which is very, very affordable. Okay, compared to buying the bus pass every month. Okay, so yeah, definitely check in with your school. I don't know about other schools here in Manitoba, but again, definitely check in with your schools and you should be able to access those benefits. Okay, the next thing I'll be talking about is groceries. When it comes to groceries, I would say Superstore is your plug, or should be your plug. I just find that Superstore has a lot of options and a lot of things are affordable. As a new immigrant, I would say just stick to Superstore, like especially the first few weeks when you're trying to settle down. Just stick to Superstore. You would find Superstore in almost every city or province here in Canada. So yeah, that should be your plug, and I feel like their prices are quite affordable. Of course, like the prices of food stuff, in fact the prices of everything Like I feel like the prices of almost everything like has gone up. So yeah, it's something that I feel is worldwide at this stage, but I find Superstore to be very affordable. Another place you can check is Walmart. Okay, Walmart isn't so bad, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, different stores will carry different products and different, you know, would I say, prices. So yeah, if you have time, you can definitely do your, you know, comparison and decide where you'll be buying certain products, you know, and all of that. So that's if you have the time, okay. But I feel like for a start, just, you know, stick to Superstore. Another place that other people shop from is Costco. And I think Costco is okay, but I mean, for a new immigrant, honestly, I'll just say take a step back first. When you've settled in, you can decide if you need Costco or not. When it comes to Costco, I feel like if you're not buying a lot of things in bulk, then there's almost no point because you pay for membership as well, right? So I don't know, it's just my opinion, right? Like I just feel people that buy a lot of things in bulk will benefit more because most things there are in bulk, right? So yeah, that's just something, you know, you can pay attention to or something that you can have in mind. Okay, but yeah, Superstore is definitely your plug. Another area where you could spend a lot of money is clothing. Okay, first of all, I just find like the quality of clothes here are not, let's say, the best. Okay, I feel like I've seen better. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Okay, but yeah, like we live in Canada, right? And Canada is cold. Okay, so when it comes to winter clothing, sometimes it could just be very expensive, and it's just, you know, something that you need to pay attention to or something that you need to be aware of. Don't be too cheap when it comes to buying winter clothing because you guys, like, cold is real. Okay, so please buy the needful, make sure that you're getting the appropriate clothes for winter, okay, and buy good quality. Okay? The last and final point for this video would be tax. You guys, tax is tax. I don't know how else to explain it. Tax is tax, okay? And you know, it could be very painful that, you know, you earn a certain amount of money, or you have it at the back of your mind that this is the amount you'll be getting in at the end of the year, you know, but it's not always the case, okay? Because taxes take a huge part of your salary, okay? So that's just something you have to have at the back of your mind. And also just knowing that, you know, when you make purchases, you also pay tax. So yeah, just have that at the back of your mind that that's another area where you would be spending a lot of money, okay? So yeah, in this video we talked about general cost and general expenses people living in Canada have to deal with, okay? Also, depending on the phase of life you're in, it would be different, okay? So this is something that you definitely need to pay attention to. Please don't compare yourself to another person. Do what works for you and make the decisions that work better for you, okay? Anyways guys, that will be all for this video. If you have questions, I'll be in the comment section to reply, or you can send me a DM on Instagram and I would respond as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, but until then, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.